portrait photographer Sean launches and discusses his new book, A Portrait of Hackney 2005 to 2025, celebrating the people and spirit of the London Borough of Hackney. Sean discusses the images of Carnival to Purim, football on Hackney Marshes to entertainment, documenting the vibrancy, diversity and tolerance. Petra Roberts, with a wealth of experience in placemaking, senior leadership inspiring change and cultural understanding. Petra is the Assistant Director for Culture, Heritage and Libraries within Hackney Council, and will reflect with Sean on the passionate storytelling of images of community, immigration, nature and home. That doesn't even cover the amount of stuff that they actually are doing in the past, present and will do in the future. I'm really honoured to have these two people here today and that we're all here in the room. So I'll stop talking and just, temper my enthusiasm, but really just join me in welcoming Sean and Petra.
Thank you so much, Lydia. That's really, really kind of you. Very kind words. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this very special event at Dawson CLR James Library, both here in person and to those joining us via the live stream. My name is Petra Roberts, and I'm delighted to be your host today for what promises to be a rich and inspiring conversation. We are honoured to welcome photographer Sean Pollock, whose work many of you will already know, whether from publications like Hackney Today or just by seeing the life of Hackney captured through his lens over the past 2 decades. For 20 years, Sean has documented the vibrant cultural life, celebrations and everyday moments of Hackney's diverse communities. His photographs are more than images. They are powerful visual archives of people, place and identity. From street festivals to intimate portraits, his work captures the resilience, creativity and spirit that define our borough. Today we'll explore Sean's journey as a photographer, hear the stories behind some of his most iconic images, and reflect on the importance of representation, memory, and local history in visual storytelling. I've been at Hackney for 20 years, and in my time you've captured things that I've been involved in, so it's with great pride and excitement that I'm in conversation with you today, Sean. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Sean.
Thank you, Petra. Great to see so many familiar faces in the audience tonight. Thanks for coming down for this whistle-stop tour of Hackney through my lens for the last 20 years. I'm originally from Glasgow in the west of Scotland and can see parallels with Hackney. Both suffered deindustrialisation, Glasgow with the demise of heavy industry in the shipyards, and Hackney with the clothing furniture making industries. Glasgow has a sizable Irish, Italian, Southeast Asian and Jewish immigrant population. Hackney, Afro-Caribbean, Turkish, Vietnamese, Jewish and other nationalities. We also suffer from negative public perceptions, so much so that terms like Glasgow Kiss and Hackney Diamonds have entered into the common vernacular. Loosely translated, the Glasgow Kiss is a headbutt, and Hackney Diamonds are the shards of glass on the pavement after a car window has been smashed, and was recently used as a title in a Rolling Stones album. However, growing up in Glasgow, I found it to be vibrant, with a strong sense of community, and that's what I found in Hackney. A pride and openness, people happy to strike up a conversation with a stranger or share an opinion. This presentation is a celebration of the people and spirit of the borough.
It's great to hear about what brought you to Hackney. What's your process when capturing a moment?
Well, neuroscientists talk about the human brain as a prediction machine, and that we're making best guesses, predicting what's likely to happen and getting into position for that possibility. At its best, you get into a kind of flow state, at one with the event, bobbing and weaving with the camera and being instinctive. One of my strongest influences was a photographer called Henri Cartier-Bresson, and he coined the term decisive moment, which was the fleeting instant when all elements in a scene align perfectly to create a compelling and meaningful image. So I'm going to move on to the first image here. This image is almost 30 years old. It's Euro 96. It's the Scotland fans at Trafalgar Square. And that's Nelson's column in the background. In the foreground, we have a fan who's brought a cutout of Mel Gibson from the movie Braveheart, which came out the same year. And what really made this picture for me was a fly past. So up in the top left-hand corner, you've got two 1950s bombers which flew overhead a few hundred feet, and that with a sort of sonic boom, and that set off the pigeons, and the pigeon shapes are mimicking the shape of the aeroplanes. And this is typical Scotland fans. We celebrate before the game, just in case the result doesn't work out. And it's one of my earliest pictures that I was happy with, and sort of illustrates, a decisive moment for me. This is Storm Doris blew through the city of London 5 or 6 years ago, and I thought the idea of these high winds coming through the city might offer some interesting possibilities with commuters trying to deal with it. So I headed down, and this is taken. That's a hoarding in front of a building site, and this lady's been caught in the kind of wind, as you can see. It's coming through a tunnel, and it's just held her hair there. There's a series of these pictures. The one before is the hair going up, this one the hair raising, and then the hair collapses, which is an interesting shot, but this is the one for me. This is the Vatican. So I was drawn to the silhouette of a street lamp on the wall, and then that was a case of staking it out, as it were, and waiting for an interesting character to come through. And this priest did. I recently reposted this on my Instagram when the new Pope was being elected under the Who's Next #conclave.
So this is the front cover image of your new book, Sean. What and why did you choose this image for the front cover of the book?
Yeah, there's about 530 photographs in the book, and this stood out as the cover for me. It was the explosion of colour and energy. We've got the rainbow colours in the headdress, the ticker tape colour going on, and we've got a bit of place with Hackney Empire in the top right hand corner. And also, usually when people are looking at a photograph, they're looking at the eyes to work out what the emotion is, but the eyes are obscured here with a visor. So the viewer's eyes is forced to move over the image to get some clues as to the emotion involved.
I think everybody can recognise these photos have been taken at Carnival, Hackney Carnival.
Yeah.
Can you talk us through the process of photographing an event like Carnival?
Yeah, Carnival's one of our favourite days in Hackney. My advice is to get down early. This is the Carnival preparation. It's on Mentmore Terrace, and we can see the headdresses and some outfits laid out in the pavement in bottom left. And then up top right, London Field Station, beautiful boutique. And we know it's a hot day because there's a man in the background eating an ice cream. And it's also an ideal time to do portraits before the carnival gets going. It's then got its own momentum. So this is a nice time to catch up with people.
So these are the Windrush ladies from the Windrush Day Parade. These were the ladies that took part in Hackney Carnival, and they worked with Rena from our consultancy. And following Carnival, they went on to represent Hackney with those costumes at the Lord Mayor show in the City of London. And it just shows that taking part in Hackney Carnival is part of our culture in Hackney, and this spans over 50 years of local storytelling. The day has its roots in the history of Caribbean communities who moved to Hackney in the 70s and introduced their carnival traditions and storytelling to the borough. And these are just some of the many images that Sean has taken for us over the years.
Thanks, Petra. As I said, it's a great time to do portraits, get some close-ups. And here the carnival's in full swing. This is a wide angle taken from an open-top bus, the St Joseph's bus. And we can see the town hall, and we get an idea of the location. That's Paxton Indy, the Carnival Artistic Director, bottom left, so I'll try and catch some key characters at this time. And that's St Joseph's Hospice bus. And Tropical Isles, the two pictures on the right, who I've been photographing for about 15, 20 years. I photograph for rehearsals, and they always put on a fantastic show. This is a life-size mechanical element making its way down Mare Street. And what I liked about this spot was the light coming down Sylvester Road. And here's a couple of revellers enjoying themselves on the top of a bus stop. I don't endorse this kind of behaviour. And as I said about getting down early to do portraits after the carnival, so it's a great time, people are settled down, and this was taken on Ridley Road. You can see the sun sort of setting behind, and that's where the sound systems are positioned. So stick with the event after it. Some of your best pictures will be taken then. So I talked about decisive moment earlier. This is the opposite. This is like an indecisive moment. And so looking back at photographs of, let's say, the Queen's coronation, sort of more historical photos, apart from the pomp and ceremony of what's going on, I was always interested to see what the people looked like who were attending. And that's what this photo is about. It's just about recording the people of Hackney in an indecisive moment. They're all just there. We can see the hairstyles, fashions, and we've got the town hall in the background, giving it a sense of place. Another indecisive moment. So these are taken when a lull in the carnival, so a float's gone by, and maybe there's a quiet bit and everyone just sort of relaxes, looks at their phone. And this is a really indecisive moment. You know, the phones are out. But I like this is taken, we've got an Effie's beer advertising, Turkish beer around the corner, is taken outside a Turkish cash and carry. Moving on to Lunar New Year. So this is a wide angle. I'm pretty close to these, the dragons here, so I can get everything in the frame. As well as wide angle, I'll have a telephoto lens, so I can go in on details, like this traditional instrument, bottom right-hand corner. So part of the process arriving early is being able to do portraits. So I'll usually do portraits of performers, and I'll typically use natural light, I'll use window light, and in here at post-production I've taken away the kind of distracting background, so we just get the portrait against a nice clean black background. So moving on to Purim, in this slightly surreal image. So when I saw this space boy coming down, I knew there was a picture to be got. It was a case of getting into position. I didn't want to lose Space Boy against the snow, so it was a case of running round and silhouetting him against the darker pavement, and then having his friend against the white snow. And this is dancing in the streets of Stamford Hill. Some more. So I like these pictures because they go against, you know, the popular conception of us as serious and austere culture, and they're having a good time and doing their thing. So Purim is about dressing up, but it's not about the actual outfits. Don't seem to have. It's about the persona that you take on is not important. It's about the act of dressing up. I mean, I like to think that there's something more going on here about, you know, the love of Scotland, but I think he just liked the outfit. And I always imagine him shouting, "Freedom!" in a Mel Gibson, Braveheart kind of way. Yeah, this is kind of adorable. I like the father's, you know, very chilled, relaxed pose. And the kids, the flower kids. So they're all out in the street here enjoying seeing other passers-by in their outfits. So in this one, just to clean up the image, I've stood on top of a park bench to get a bit of elevation so I can shoot down, and then we get the black silhouetted against the white. Sometimes you have to work really hard for a photo. You have to bob and weave and compose things, and sometimes you just arrive and it's all there set up. And that's the case with this image here. There's a lovely sort of symmetry between the two doorways. The colours are quite muted except for the little baby chicken, the red, the orange and yellow, which gives it a nice little pop of colour. So this is, we've seen Carnival performers in the context in the street of Carnival, but this works on the basis of taking the tribal outfit of the performer and putting them in a more mundane environment, like an office environment.
This is something that a lot of people recognise, not only in Hackney but internationally. It's the Dalston Peace Mural. The Dalston Peace Mural is celebrating its 40th anniversary this year, and there is a programme for September being developed in collaboration with Roland Walker, who is the son of mural designer Ray Walker. And he's working with the Dalston Eastern Cove Garden and the council's culture team, so we're looking forward to the rich programme happening in the autumn.
Thanks, Petra. Yeah, what I liked about that, I just passed on this scene coming from a job and stopped off to have a look, and I like the hands of the artist mimicking the arms of the in the mural. So Hackney Circle was set up for the elderly to help with the social and creativity. This is the St Mary's secret garden, and I just love the lush greenness about here. This on the bottom right hand side, that's Poets' Corner, where they all get together and recite their recent work. And what was fortuitous here was the lady on the left hand side with the red trousers and the rainbow bell. Just gives it a lovely ping of strong colour, red within all that green. Here, got into a few details, a bit of the food on the top right, mimicking the colours in the batik. And we've got some music going on and just a few pictures to catch the general vibe. And this is about probably the power of connection. Now, I grew up in Thatcher's Britain, where there was the idea there was no such thing as society. And I was really taken with the slogan on this lady's t-shirt, "This is what a compassionate neighbour looks like." And I find, Hackney, there's a lot of people in Hackney putting in an effort to help others.
This image looks like it's taken in a studio setting.
But yes, I'm always looking to find studio spaces at an event, somewhere where I can kind of isolate people and do portraits. This was a black pyramid, so I started to bring in Hackney Circle members to do individual portraits. And here's part of the series. This is Hoxton Street. I think some kind of VE Day celebration, 2008, I think. And it's the Pearlies, and they're out in force. And what I like about it is we can see the different angles of the outfits, front, back, and sides. And here's a Pearly in action. Maybe it's because this is the New Age Games and Hackney's team. A pretty fierce, strong team that Hackney were entering that year. There was a fuel crisis in 2023, and Hackney Council opened up community centres for older people to go who were concerned about the cost of heating. So I went along and enjoyed a bit of time with them. I really liked the texture on the table, so I used that as a device in this photo. Here we have some of the fierce dominoes action. So Hackney's got a well-deserved reputation for diversity and tolerance, and this is Vanity Von Glow, the self-styled internationally ignored superstar. So here she is, entertaining Hackney Circle members. And top left, in the middle of frame, that's Anita. She's here tonight. Big shout out to Anita. Anita always brings the party.
It could be time to shine. That's what June lost, yeah, Sean.
Thanks, you're always shining. Thanks, Anita.
You're welcome.
So we can see we've got the pride flags here, and I love the Hackney Circle, the vibe, they're all in with it. And here we have a bit of voguing, with a voguing workshop, we were striking a pose. And moving on to some photos of younger people in the borough. So this picture was taken at Clapton School for Girls on the release of the GCSE results. So this is 4 years of study gets summed up, when they open that envelope and see how they get on. So there's a huge amount of tension around. And as a photographer, this is a gift. Great school, by the way. National Play Day, making their way to the town hall to campaign for more play, I think. My thing was to get in position with this, with a background that was going to be sort of typically Hackney, and bring the demonstrators. So we've all heard of the movie Snakes in a Plane. This is Snake in a Library, Hoxton Library. And not only was there a snake, there was a tarantula, bottom left, and a lizard, top right. So for me, the interactions with the kids, this mixture of kind of fear and curiosity was great. So this is Discover Young Hackney, taken at Forest Road Community. This is kind of win-win. This is Rico, who's a fantastic young musician. He's playing Glastonbury Festival this year. So he's mentoring the young man who's been recorded in the background. And there's him doing his vocals on the track. So this is a lovely kind of bravado and sensitivity. in this image. This is boxing training at Carnival Community Centre. Discover Young Hackney. Young Hackney members went to Twist Museum, which is a museum of optical art. So it's great to have devices like that for photography. Having fun. And that's the Mayor, Caroline Woodley, bottom left, joining in the fun. The star arrives for the matinee at the Hackney Empire. And alter ego.
Yeah, I'd like to say a little bit something about alter ego. Could I have the next image, please, Sean?
Sure.
This is my favourite Discovering Hackney photo. It really captures the electric atmosphere each year at these events. The event is called Alter Ego, and it's a talent contest for young people. And I founded it back in 2007 with support from the Hackney Empire. It was an idea I had whilst I was sitting on the top of the bus back in 2007, listening to young people talking about Leona Lewis and really praising her for having won the X Factor. And so at the time she was living in East London, and I got in touch with her and her mother, and we worked together on supporting the very first talent contest event. These young people have been supported by the theatre ever since, and they've gone on to get great jobs in the West End, at the National Theatre, recording deals with Sony Records and so forth. These pictures capture young people at the moment where their futures are ahead of them, and we are supporting their journey. They show hope, optimism, and why culture matters.
Thanks, Petra. Yeah. So this image was about showing local young people enjoying the kind of splendour of Hackney Empire and this kind of raucous energy that might have been around for those who were attending Shakespeare's plays a few hundred years ago. So I'd heard about Hackney Beach and the Hackney Riviera, and I thought I've just got to check this out. So I went down there and I found this just idyllic scene. Top right, you've got barbecue smoke coming through the trees, and bottom left, sort of families as well enjoying the river. So Hackney has got 31 green flags, which is an award for its parks. It's one of the greenest boroughs in inner city in London. And this shot was not done with a drone. It was me, the human drone. So what I do is I hold the camera up like this, and I take a few, and with a bit of practice you can get quite good at that. This is Clissold Skate Park. And Clissold, just showing two sides of Clissold within 100 yards. You've got the skate park, and then you've got the deer in the top right hand. And these are the, go ahead.
Yeah, just a question on the lighting. You've captured that beautiful lighting in your work, particularly the bottom left image and the top right. Sort of struck me when I first saw it. How do you use light in your work?
Yeah, the contrast between the two here is the top left, bottom right, we're taking a golden hour in the evening, so sort of sunset light. And golden hour refers to the hour before sunset, and the first hour a morning light. And top right, bottom left, were morning light. So just, you know, it's a great time to take photos if you can get out of bed at that time in the morning. This is Hackney Downs Meadow. So not only do these meadows, wildflower meadows, look fantastic, they encourage biodiversity. So there are two people in the audience tonight that believe this to be the best photo I've ever taken. That's my wife and daughter. And this is Coco, our family dog. So nice little thing because Coco looks like she's sniffing this the poppy here, but there's actually a bee or a wasp just above it, which has got her interest. But unfortunately, Coco's not in the book. Yeah, so I spoke to her agent and I just couldn't afford her. An image you might not expect would be kite flying in, this is Hackney Marshes. Again, bottom right is the human drone, just holding the camera above your head. This is the secret garden, garden of earthly delights. This is a place where people can go and voluntarily work in the garden with the, you can see a polytunnel in the background and grow some veggies and fruit and veg. Here's some green-fingered locals.
This looks like an image in a movie.
Yeah, when I saw these two characters making their way along the bank of the canal down at Springfield Marina, I had to get a picture. Obviously, I'm walking straight towards them, so I pulled a sharp left and to frame the photo. And as I'm snapping, he's turned around to look at me. So these are kind of happy accidents, and if you're on your toes, you can make the most of them. Yeah, so this dog on a boat coming towards me again. I had to get in position here and make some use of the street art in the background. So apart from the goalposts here, there's a bundle of orange on the right hand side. This is Hackney Marshes, and that's someone bringing a net to the marshes. So there are over 80 football pitches, so there's 160 times these nets have to be put up every Sunday for Sunday League football. So here's a detail of a close-up of a net being attached. So I decided to do a series on the process, how surmounting the problems of putting the net up. So here they look like some sort of fishermen getting the net all out. And here two players have synchronized their jump perfectly to hook it over the corner. Up at the shoulders. He's brought a step ladder. The teamwork on this one with a tall goalkeeper in the middle. And this is probably my favourite, partly for his athleticism, partly for the fact he wore red, which makes him stand out. And the other reason would be the kind of goalpost disappearing off into infinity. And that's just a perfect goal.
Sean, this clearly is a brilliant composition. How did you develop the composition with this series?
The idea is it's about negative space, is the idea. So the positive space being the goals and what's going on there. So I've repeated that, and I've left this, what would be the negative space, the lower part of the frame, and it just takes your eye into the positive part. And it's also a gift for designers, because they can drop text into the lower half of the frame.
I know this photo well. It's been a labour of love spanning over 4 years. It captures warm shores in the Town Hall Square, which is one of 2 artworks that complete the Hackney Windrush Art Commission. And Veronica Ryan won the Turner Prize for her fruit sculptures in the Narrow Way. They are the first permanent sculptures in the UK to honour the contributions of the Windrush generation. They are bold, confident and charismatic sculptures that are capturing the attention and imagination of many. They reflect the past, present and future and inspire those who come into contact. I am proud to have been part of the programme and really thankful to all those who contributed, from the local people to the artists.
Thanks, Petra. So I went back at the end of the day. These statues, this piece is facing north. So it's the only time you can get is sunset in the summer. So I went back later on to just get that little bit of sun coming in and backlighting the sculptures. This was taken during the day at the launch. So I wanted something to show the scale. So I asked a passerby, someone that was attending the launch, if they could come in and just to show the scale. A lot of you will be familiar with London Fields Lido. This was reopened in 2006, at a time when many councils around the country were closing facilities like this. Hackney Council managed to open the Lido. And this is Dervis Connerall, a Paralympian medal-winning swimmer. He was training here for the Beijing Olympics. I saw Dervis talk. He did motivational speaking for in Hackney schools, and he had a line which I always remembered, and it was, for him, when he was growing up in Hackney, it was seen as an excuse, but now it's an opportunity. So this is the London Youth Games. I photographed Hackney's competitors, and there's just something nice about how the water has sprayed out from the divers here. These are the Hackney girls netball. I just love the energy and shapes in these. I take photographs of each team, and this is the Hackney girls netball team. When I started photographing this in 2006, Hackney were about 30 out of 33 boroughs, but due to the efforts of Lynn Humphreys, bottom left, Hackney were third last year and have been in the top 5 for the last 5 or 10 years. And so, some athlete, sportsmen have come through, and you thought they were super talented. And that's Tom Drayton, top right, who's now a professional tennis player. Top right, more Hackney competitors, but that's a Mary Mears, who now works with Hackney Council in the sports department, and Amari represented Jamaica in the Commonwealth Games, and he always won gold, not surprisingly. Noah Williams from 2012. Noah won 2 medals in Paris in the recent Olympics, one with Tom Daly and one on his own. So this is 2012, and this is him in 2015. He was clearly an outstanding talent. Indoor rowing, it's lovely passion and intensity and expression here. The velodrome. The velodrome's in Hackney's 30% of the Olympic Park. The cycling team have done incredibly well. And in this photo, just I like the shape of the velodrome, sort of mirrored in the curves of the wheels. Really, Hackney's most famous son, from Holly Street to Hollywood. Credit to Sappho, the editor of Hackney Today, for that one. This is Maureen Flanagan. I met Maureen at a big lunch event, which the council give grants to local communities to hold a lunch. We can see a little bit of the lunch set up in the background here. There was a bric-a-brac stall, and Maureen was there with books and a few other things. And one of the books was How to Shoot Your Friends and Influence People. And another one was Mad Frankie Fraser's autobiography. Anyway, we got chatting with Maureen, and she suggested I do a portrait of her. And she said, "That's my car over there, the pink one." And I said, "Fantastic, Maureen." So Maureen, I subsequently found out that Maureen's published, and she's got a memoir with the family, 40 years with the Cray twins. So Maureen used to go around and do Violet Cray's set in Purim, the weekends, and I'm sure it's a terrific read.
Your photography keeps pace with events, cultures, and moments in time. You're always there to mark and capture them. But then along comes a global pandemic that nobody, despite the expert scientists' warnings, really expect to happen. How did that jolt, shock, and responsibility upon your shoulders to capture these moments make you feel? Why did you feel compelled to photograph this difficult time, and how did you approach it?
Yeah, it was, as a documentary photographer, I just felt compelled to photograph what's going on within the culture at the time. So I went out with my camera, and this picture here's got a slight dystopian feel. You can see some social distancing and mask wearing outside the town hall. Barbers on Broadway Market. People in different parts of Hackney. And the vaccine arrives. And I think this is a good metaphor for the National Health Service, this image. So I was to photograph the vaccinations, and while I was in doing this, I was tapped on the shoulder and someone said, "I think we should go to the waiting room." And I did, and this is what I found. Yeah, her daughter, I posted this on Instagram, and the lady's daughter got in touch, said, "That's my mum, that's Joy." And I just said, "I think your mum's got a wicked sense of humour." This is Here East. Here East is in the 30% of the Olympic Park, the Hackneys. That's Hackney. This is about finding a frame. I like the layers of dots here. We've got a bus shelter with dots on it. We've got a bus behind that, and then we've got another bus behind that with dots. So it was about the layers and then waiting for something to come through it. And I'm not sure how long I waited, but typically I'll wait up to 15, 20 minutes for the right characters or something to happen within that space. Two ladies with umbrellas, one of them's got checks on her umbrellas, which contrasts nicely with the spots. Here East is the old press centre, and it's at the kind of forefront of the robotics and VR represented here. Plexel offer co-working office space to local businesses. And this is Nana Badu. I've known Nana and worked with him for about 20 years, and he does fantastic work with mentoring and training for young people in the borough. So this is Shoreditch Town Hall. It's a tea dance, and it's quite a splendid location. Some of the dancers, I think we've got a bit of tango going on top right, maybe Charleston top left. Some wide shot to show the space. More dancing, and like down in the bottom right hand corner we've got two gents putting in a request for the DJ, Mr. Wonderful. This is from Dementia Awareness Week. It's a tender image. Stoke Newington Town Hall tea dance. Mr. Wonderful, top left. and dancers. And this is the look of Laura.
And this is Shoreditch. Over to the nightlife.
Yeah.
Shoreditch is a globally recognised district in London. It's known for its vibrant arts and creative industries. And I know, Sean, you've been taking lots of pictures across Shoreditch from lots of different things.
Yes, it's internationally known as a nightlife destination. And good news for anyone that's ever had a night out down there, it's still going strong. There's the Jaguar Shoes is still there, and there's a nice bit of graffiti top right, in the neon saying, let's pretend this never happened. We've all had nights like that. And this is a ball pit. There's over 1 million balls in this pit here, and this is kind of maybe the latest thing that you will find in Shoreditch. So here are details. If you'd like to see more of the photographs on here, the entire book is on my website. You can see there, and then if you're interested in a copy, a hard copy, that's the lower details on there. Take a picture with your phone and take it from there. So
Thank you, Sean. This is clearly a fraction of all the images that are in the book. They're fantastic images. I've had colleagues in the council coming into my office saying, can we see the Portrait of Hackney book? And we've all been reminiscing about those images that we've taken over the past 20 years. So thank you so much for everything you've been doing for the borough. We'd like to open up for some questions from the audience. We have 10-15 minutes to do that, so please do ask a question for Sean. And we have Lydia and Emma, I think, coming over with microphones.
maybe they can just shout.
Do you mind shouting?
Can we just?
Right, good evening everyone. My name is Damonita Jacques, an activity participant from London Borough of Hackney. I became an activity participant for 14 years in the New Age Games. My question